All right, well, welcome. I've decided to start the recording before I've gotten any descent instructions. Perhaps to reveal an error. Fingers are crossed, of course, that I'm about to receive them, but I am wondering. I am over Palm Springs. PSP is the code for Palm Springs. You see there's airplanes all over the place. Here. Lots of airplanes. These guys are all on approach into LAX, headed due west.
Whiskey Bravo descend and maintain flight level 240.
Nice. We got our descent instructions. Perfect timing.
Descend and maintain flight level 240, Docker Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Throttle back here a little bit. Down to 24,000. Anyway, we are flying from Cabo San Lucas home, back to my home, with our ultra bright screens that I can't dim. Beautiful flight, just a beautiful flight today. Basically paralleling, we came up, I'll back out here a little just to show you. Came up, kind of flew the backbone of Baja California, flew over the Salton Sea right here, past KTRM, which is thermal, PSP, Palm Springs, hung a left, and then we're going to fly this approach into John Wayne, which is that blue circle right now, KSNA. My home airport. It's been an awesome trip around the country, around the Caribbean, Central America, north to Cabo, and then today from Cabo home. If you've flown or driven from in the area, this area of LA via Palm Springs east to Vegas, or actually not Vegas, I guess you take Interstate 15 to get to Vegas, but Interstate 10 is basically right along here. This geographical feature here is Mount San Jacinto. Beautiful feature, very southernmost feature of the San Bernardino Mountains. Just north of that, if I can zoom out here a little, I'll try to show you right here. That's San Gorgonio. So San Gorgonio here, San Jacinto here. And this pass here is Interstate 10. It runs through this pass. Lots of airplanes, so keep an eye out. Been a while since I throttle back a little bit more here. Been a while since I had to worry about airplanes. Most of these areas I've been flying, but we're in crowded Class Bravo airspace. While I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and pre-program in the ILS frequency for runway 2 right, 111 point. Whoops! I just realized I was doing wrong here. Hold on. 111.75. 2635, New York, Whiskey Bravo.
Going to Albany, 26.35, Docker Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Okay, so we've entered in the frequency for
Los Angeles Center, Docker November 34 Whiskey Bravo is at flight level 2.
Lots of traffic.
Descending flight level 240.
See that guy?
Docker November 34 Whiskey Bravo, Los Angeles Center.
We've entered in the ILS frequency for runway 20 right. I've mentioned this before, just how nice it is to have familiarity with an area. This is an approach I've made many times, so that helps. I'm waiting for further descent instructions. We're at 22,000. There it is.
Descend and maintain 12,000 feet, Docker Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Send down to 12,000. Make our adjustments here. I'm keeping an eye out for clear aircraft. Descending at 1,700 feet per minute. really is a reminder of just how there's our friend headed east. I've been listening to some of the air traffic control in terms of reference to live flights. Look at all these airplanes. Boom, 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 boom. This is just fantastic. KSBD, San Bernardino Airport. Anyway, it's a reminder of, you fly in some of these more isolated areas. It's very different. Go into a busy airspace like this, you just kind of got to keep your head on a swivel. I have radar information here on the multifunction display showing the other aircraft in the area, KRIV, Riverside. But I also have my 4Flight app, my handy dandy trusty 4Flight app, which is also giving me information on other traffic in the area. We're going to approach, checking our approach plate for runway 20 right. Our waypoints of consequence: Snake, Sierra November Alpha Kilo Echo, we need to be at 3,400 feet. Hookham, Hotel Uniform Kilo Echo Mike, we need to be at 2,800. And Lemon, Lima Echo Mike Oscar November, we need to be at 2,200. I've made this approach several times, both in real life and in this sim. So, maybe famous last words, but I'm not overly apprehensive. Might as well activate our inertial separator a little early, because why not? But descending nicely down to 12,000. 4Flight showing our estimated time on route to destination about 10 minutes. Probably more like 13. Somebody marked the UTC time 2:21 on my watch. It's at 7:21, 7:22 now. I'm offering this, or I decided anyway, to run over to this flight today to, a little break from politics. It's a big night tonight, our vice presidential debates, on which I'm offering no opinion. Here's the guy right here. He's on final into LAX. You see on our MFD, you'll see a long string of airplanes. That right. Nearest altimeter showing it to 2989er. Let's see if that's right. It's always a fun little experiment to do. We'll go to our altimeter, 2989er, and then we'll press the B key and see how correct it is. 2990. Very good, very good. I always like it when I see good data coming in. Anyway, that airport I was about to show out here, probably just about to appear, is Ontario, which is not a big airport compared to LAX, but it is a big airport, especially for cargo, UPS, FedEx, and so forth. God, there are airplanes everywhere. Here. I mean, we're surrounded by traffic. Anyway, if you've ever landed at LAX and then gotten on the 105 eastbound, you see a string of airplanes on final. I mean, there's just 2 mile separation, airplane. It looks like just a diamond necklace, and because LAX has 4, oh man, look at all these airplanes. This is 3 aircraft, boom, boom, boom. Because LAX has 4 runways, all facing eastbound out towards the sea. The planes on final virtually always are coming from the east towards the west, And so if you are on the freeway headed east out of LAX after you've landed, you'll see just this long string that's actually really quite striking of lights, of anti-collision lights and landing lights on aircraft that are on final. And that's nicely depicted here in the sim tonight. Airspeed looks good. We're 14,000, descending 12,000.
Los Angeles Center, FedEx 1359.
FedEx, UPS. Lots of planes are cargo planes, really.
FedEx 1359.
This is how all your Amazon stuff gets to you on time, is because of stuff like this. They don't get much glory, but they're doing a lot of the work. Anyway, we are headed towards Frets, then Cabo, and then this is where we get. And actually, you can actually see if you look here, there is a airplane on final.
Whiskey Bravo contact SoCal approach on ONE 21.3.
21-3 to Air Whiskey Bravo, good day.
FedEx 1369 contact Los Angeles Center on ONE 28.15.
Going to ONE 21.3 Doherty Whiskey Bravo.
We're leveling out at 12,000.
SoCal approach Tower November 343 Whiskey Bravo is out at 12,000.
So we've been handed off to approach now.
12,000 feet.
Approach will thereafter hand us off to tower.
Number 343 Whiskey Bravo, SoCal approach, continue to KO as planned. Altimeter 29.89er.
29er, we'll address that. Correct the altimeter
Air
setting.
Whiskey Bravo, contact Los Angeles Center on 132.85.
LA Center 3285 to Air Whiskey Bravo. Thank you.
132.85 for Doherty Whiskey Bravo.
Switch from approach to LA Center.
Los Angeles Center Tower November 343 Whiskey Bravo 12,100 feet.
Tower November 343 Whiskey Bravo, Los Angeles Center, continue to KAYOH as planned. Altimeter 29.89er.
29er confirmed. Winds are from the west, southwest, or south-southwest, I guess more accurately.
Tower 3 Whiskey Bravo,
12.
contact SoCal approach on ONE 21.3.
21-3 to Air Whiskey Bravo. They're heading us back to approach.
121.3 for Doherty Whiskey Bravo.
The AI is a little weird on ATC, so this is one of the reasons I
SoCal
allow
approach
the
Tower November 343 Whiskey
program to
Bravo,
handle it.
12,000 feet.
Basically, they handed me off to one, and another, then back to the one from before.
Altimeter 29.88.
2988.
Air 3 Whiskey Bravo, you are 17 miles northeast. Descend and maintain 4,700 feet. Expect ILS runway 20 right approach via Sager transition. Cleared to Sager.
Down to 4,700. We'll expect 20 right. Air Whiskey Bravo.
Descend and maintain 4,700 feet. Expect ILS runway 20 right approach via Sager transition. Cleared to Sager Doherty Whiskey Bravo.
Anyways, I was going to say, you can actually see there is an aircraft on final
Air 3 Whiskey Bravo, descend
right now.
and maintain 4,000 feet.
Down to 4,000 Air Whiskey Bravo.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Doherty Whiskey Bravo.
That's probably him right there. On final. My house, somewhere around here. Basically, the approach that we're taking will take us over my house.
Descend and maintain 4,600 feet.
Down to 4,600 near Whiskey Bravo. That's
Descend
funny.
and maintain 4,600 feet.
ATC gets a
Doherty
little
Whiskey Bravo.
squirrely sometimes, I've noticed. It's down to 4,000, it's down to
Air 3
4,600.
Whiskey Bravo, descend and maintain 3,600 feet.
See what I mean? It's alright, I'm not gonna bitch.
Descend and maintain 3,600 feet. Doherty Whiskey Bravo.
Air 3 Whiskey Bravo, descend and maintain 3,400 feet.
Down to 3,400 dear through Whiskey Bravo.
Descend and maintain 3,400 feet. Doherty Whiskey Bravo.
So 3,400 again, not a randomly selected number. That is the published approach altitude for Snake right here. Hookham we need to be at the 2,800 and Lemon 2,200. So, and this guy's still on final. One sort of risk I'm taking, and we'll see how ATC handles it if it needs to, is there's a lot of planes that land at John Wayne, KSNA, this time of day. It's got about 8 million passengers a year, so it's not, you know, a little podunk airport. So this approach from the east is one that takes airplanes over my home. So I always love when I'm outside looking up and I'm like, oh look, he's coming in over Snake, just as we're doing right now.
And maintain 2,800 feet.
Down to 2,800, dear Whiskey Bravo.
Descend and maintain 2,800 feet. Docker Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Everything's going very swimmingly right now. 2,800, remember what I said, that's the published approach altitude for Hookum. Or Huckum, whatever. These are going quite well so far. Famous last words. So basically making the turn right now over my house. Hi house, I'm home. Nice to be back. I do get a kick out. Now we're turning final right now, so as soon as I finish this turn, there's an airplane in front of us, so this could be interesting. Let's see how ATC handles it. I'm going to turn final here.
Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo, you are 11 miles northeast of John Wayne. Contact John Wayne Tower on 128.35 when inbound.
So this is an excellent example about
Tower on ONE28.35 Docker Tree Whiskey Bravo.
About how airport familiarity is very useful because we're too high. We're too high. Period. End of story. We're too high. Put the gear down. There's an airplane right in front of us.
Delta November 34 Whiskey Bravo, John Wayne Tower. Cleared ILS runway 20 right approach. Altimeter 29.88 wind calm.
This will be interesting. By the way, the weather outside is perfect, exactly like it should be. We're way too high though. It simply brought us in too high. That's the airport in front of us. That's the runway in front of us. And that red light is an airplane on final in front of us. So let's see how we do this. I'm on a very steep descent right now. And I'm basically at idle.
Docker Tree Whiskey Bravo cleared to land runway 20 right. Wind calm caution, the Cessna Skyhawk landing runway 20 left.
Oh, that's very cool. We got ATC caution on the Cessna.
Clear to land runway 20 right, Docker Tree Whiskey Bravo.
That is really cool that we got that. Now the only question remaining is whether we're going to get low enough. We're at 3,000 feet right now. Just wondering why I'm... Oh, I know. Jesus Christ. God damn it. Okay, 3 miles out. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, gang. Let's switch to nope. Deactivating. Sorry, guys. We're just coming in too fast and too steeply. We actually got down to a respectable altitude, but our airspeed was so much higher than it should have been that I decided to abort the landing because I crave realism, or at least quasi-realism. And look, I'm not going to land with no flaps at 180 knots. I'm just not going to do it. So didn't go as I hoped. I'm sad to say. Anyway, what we're doing now is just pulling a left turn generally fly a left base at John Wayne. And my main reason for doing this, because our altitude's actually fine. There's the Tussa Marine Corps Air Station there off my left. Our airspeed's fine. Our altitude's fine, and now our airspeed is fine. But what I'm going to do is let's trim us here a little bit. Airspeed looks good right now. Okay, it's 132. Altitude, about 1,400 feet. I see another aircraft out there in the distance, but I can't zoom in on it. So I'm just going to hang a left here again and shoot this approach. I know this is not how it would normally be handled in terms of a missed approach. But hey, there's a reference to caution TFR, temporary flight restriction ahead. It really should be called a PFR because it's a permanent flight restriction. That is Disneyland. Anyway, get our airspeed down, we get our flaps deployed. That was cool though, how we got the traffic advisory of the Cessna that was on final in front of us. Airspeed's 87. It's just where we want it. So we're just going to hand fly this. I am, however, referencing the CDI, the course deviation indicator, right there on the PFD. Take a risk here and zoom in on it. I'm using this to help me line up. Although I basically have the airport in sight. Airspeed's 82. Trust your instruments. Make sure we got our landing lights on. Just seeing the rabbit there. I don't know if you can see that blinking white light. That's the rabbit for runway 20 right. So we had to do a little 360 there to lead off a little more airspeed because 500 AGL. I'm just not going to land at 180 knots with no flaps. Just won't do it. Just not going to do it. There's the runway. Now we're at a respectable speed, realistic altitude. There's MacArthur Boulevard on the left. Got two whites on the Vasi, so we're a little too high, but nothing we can't handle. There we go, red and white on the Vasi. Beautiful glow inside the flight deck. Pass over the 405. That beeping sound is the middle marker indicator. Very useful if you're in clouds or fog. Wow, amazing lighting effects inside. Perfect on the glide slope, perfect on the glide slope. Here we go. Airspeed's perfect. 20 right. Idle. All right, I'll take that. Reverse thrusters. We'll get cleared off to the left here in a second.
Delta Tree Whiskey Bravo exit runway when able.
So, not exactly the approach I was hoping for. Always prefer it when I can be vectored in properly, but look, I mean, you were there. I started this recording session before, hold on, I gotta get my feet on the pedals, before we even got any instructions to descend, and you were there for all of it, and they did not do it right.
Contact ground on ONE 20.8.
We were just cleared to descend too late.
120.8 for Docker Trey Whiskey Bravo.
Stop here for a second. Let's go over to ground.
John Wayne ground Docker November
You.
24 Tree Whiskey Bravo request taxi
Flaps.
to parking.
Air November 34 Tree Whiskey Bravo taxi to General Aviation parking via taxiway Alpha.
Taxi lights on. Turn off the pulse lights, sorry.
Taxiing to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha Dahar Trey Whiskey Bravo.
But still, you know, safe landing. You know, I don't feel that guilty about that weird misapproach I did, because in reality, ATC, there's another guy on final out there. Probably just flew over my house, didn't even hear him. In reality, ATC would not have failed like that. They would not have ordered me to descend so late. The fact of the matter is that I was given descent instructions too late. You were there, don't take my word for it. And there's still lights in the middle of the taxiway. God, we'll see if this ever gets fixed in a patch. Anyway, my point is that I was not given enough time to descend. And if you watch, or as I will, rewatch the video, there was no way to safely land that airplane. Okay, no airplane like this, the Dare TBM 930, is gonna land at 180 knots with no flaps. It's just stupid. It's just not realistic. And so, you know, if in real life an airplane came in too high or whatever, they'd say, you know, request to go around, or they would just go around and get handed off to SoCal departure and so forth. But there's Gary, by the way. I figure I should be allowed a little poetic license, in as much as this snafu was not my fault. So that's why I handled that. You saw it, very quick 360, kind of a corkscrew 360 to the left. Just, if nothing else, just to bleed off airspeed. That's really what I was trying to do. And it accomplished its purpose. You still need to keep situational awareness and so forth. I'll have to go back and look again as to, you know, the descent was so fast and kind of problematic that I really got around to activating the approach and the ILS and so forth. But fortunately, I look outside my window tonight, the weather is exactly like this. See, this is a good example. Look what they want me to do. These blue lines want me to go through this this jet. Okay, let's not do that.
John Wayne Ground, generic November 8905 Juliet Kilo requesting pushback.
See what I mean?
Generic November 8905 Juliet Kilo pushback.
Definitely still bugs in the game. Definitely still bugs in the game. Here's another airplane they want me to drive through. It's okay.
John Wayne Ground, generic November 8905 Juliet Kilo requesting the end of pushback.
Somebody's taking off.
Generic November 8905 Juliet Kilo request to end pushback received.
There's Gary. I see him over there.
John Wayne Ground, generic November 8905 Juliet Kilo with Yankee ready to taxi IFR. Generic
Gary
November 8905
actually handled
Juliet
this
Kilo taxi
pretty
to and hold
well.
short of runway 20 right by taxiway Bravo Delta cross runway 20
Oh,
left.
I spoke too soon.
Contact tower on 128.35 when ready.
Right after I said I was handling that pretty well, I botched it. Left.
Taxiing hold short runway 20
There
right
we
by
go.
taxiway Bravo Delta.
You'll forgive
cross
me for
runway
being a
20
little bit
left, generic 5 Juliet Kilo.
suspicious of Gary when they're bringing me in so close to other aircraft. Anyway, parking brake on. Engine. Idle, no idle, and off. Fuel tank selector closed. Alarm acknowledged. Turn off AP auto trim. Fuel tank selector manual. Strobe and nav off. Taxi lights off. Alarm acknowledged. Whew, man, this is still kind of a hot mess here. And then bleed. Depressurize the airplane. Pitot and inertial separator off. All right. Well, you know, if the measure of a successful flight is being safe on the ground and mostly following the rules, or if at the very least you had an issue that the only reason you didn't follow the rules is because of artificial intelligence issues, then you can feel a little less guilty. But that's cool. This is a good example of airport familiarity. I hinted at that earlier during our approach. I mean, that would have been a very intimidating process if I didn't know the approach into John Wayne so well. I mean, that could have been a real problem. But anyway, we're on the ground now, safe, and I'm home, which is nice. I've missed it because I've been all over the place lately. So it's nice to be home, and we're on the ground. Everybody's good. And now the only remaining question is, what is next?